Right, that was great from the three nominees. Ibrahim, I think you can have a seat.
Okay.
And then I think we'll be going straight to the part two of this program. But before that, I will also allow the Chief Judge to just highlight some points. And then from there also we will just show you a short video between the nominees and their mentors. Their mentors are inside watching them. They understand. I know all of them are, all the mentors are in to see which of the nominees will win today. And Mr. Komma, also Mr. Joe, and we also thank them for supporting these wonderful nominees. But we'll go to this part two of this program, which is very important. This is where now they will defend their policy. Just sit back and watch that part. But let's allow the Chief Judge to just give some few highlights.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Sisi. After hearing the various nominees make the different presentations, I'm going to make just a slight modification to the time that will be allocated. 3 questions are going to be asked. One question is going to be based on the policy recommendation, and then the 2 other questions are going to be asked with regards to climate change. And we are taking into account that they are not specialists on climate change, they are not experts on climate change. So these 2 other questions are basically going to be, just something basic about climate change. And then they will be given, in addition to the 1 minute that they were given, they will be given 2 minutes. Yes. They will be given 2 minutes. So instead of 1 minute, each of them will be given 2 minutes to answer these 3 questions. So 2 minutes times 3, that will be how many? That will be 6 minutes in total. And then we'll be left with 4 minutes to maybe make some critical analysis here and there, making it in total the same 10 minutes, back to the same 10 minutes. So they will be asked 3 questions, and then they will be given each the same questions. They will be given each 2 minutes to answer, making it 6. Then 4 minutes will be left for some critical analysis. Yeah, so that's basically it. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So, can we please have all the nominees on the stage, please?
So, if the government of the Gambia is to select one policy, why do you think your policy should be accepted or selected? That is the first question. I repeat. If the government of the Gambia is to select one policy, why do you think your policy should be selected or accepted? Now the second question. Amidst a changing climate and variability, why is sub-Saharan Africa's agricultural sector so vulnerable to a changing climate? Amidst a changing climate and variability, why is sub-Saharan Africa's agricultural sector so vulnerable to climate change? And vulnerability being a function of exposure, sensitivity, and adaptive capacity. Vulnerability being a function of exposure, sensitivity, and adaptive capacity. Now, the third question. The third question is this. Mr. Bahaf elaborated on the radiative forcing, and also dilated on, expatiated on the greenhouse effect. Now I want you to elaborate also on the enhanced greenhouse effect. We have the greenhouse effect, and we have another effect called the enhanced greenhouse effect. So I would like you to elaborate on the enhanced greenhouse effect. Yeah. So those are the 3 questions. So you have 2 minutes to answer the 3 questions, each of you. Yeah. So Mr. Timekeeper, please help us.
Why is my policy more important? I am talking about the impacts of climate change on coastal and marine environments. We are very well aware of what the impacts of climate change is on the coast and our environment, which I've highlighted. But looking at the coast, most of the population densities are located on this coast. And my background being tourism contributes immensely to the socio-economic development of this country. What I'm saying here, if it is not protected, the coastline is not protected, and its effect, there will come a time when tourism will bring less income in this country. The reason is tourism in 2013 contributed, according to the Ministry of Tourism, about $85 million. And that's a substantial amount of money to our economy. That represents about $3 billion. Now, if where that income is coming from is not protected, what will happen? We'll end up losing that. And beside agriculture, there's no other industry better than tourism. So this will help us. If we manage those coastal areas and the environment, we can do something.
If you look at the presentations that they made, they didn't bring anything new to the table. Most of what they've spoken about is already on the ground. The tree planting that he spoke about is already happening. The Gambian government already made a commitment to plant 1 million trees. So it is happening. What we need to do is to enhance that already. So if you are bringing a policy, I believe you should bring something that is not already on the ground. The same thing regarding his presentation. He didn't bring anything new to the ground. I didn't hear him say something that is not already in any policy document or is not already in government's plans. If you look at my policy, I have not seen it anywhere in terms of incorporating waste management into the climate change prevention and management cycle. It's not happening, at least not to my knowledge. So in terms of that, so it's something new that is already been suggested. And basically, if you look at what I am suggesting, it's going to be of benefit to the community because it's already going to bring to the fore the issue of waste management as a cause of climate change. The second issue is that it is going to be something that would challenge the municipalities and the authorities to be able to tackle those pressing issues of management of waste, which in itself is going to help in tackling climate.
It should be adopted by the government. As he said the government has embarked on the tree planting and government has planted more than, 1 million trees. But the reason is, are they sustaining? Are those trees sustaining? What I'm going to do is, my policy will be about community green up competition. That is, government has to engage community members and they has to be sensitized on how to sustain those trees. How? We have 7 regions in the 7 administrative areas in the Gambia. What are we going to do? We are going to use the area council and to engage and sensitize these people how to sustain these trees. But how? We are going to, after 1 year, the government would send experts on these areas that we are embarking on this tree planting, and they would see the area that has retained and they retain their forest and they plant more trees and the trees are sustaining. Government is going to pay them handsome price, and that would motivate other communities also to embark on the same thing. And that is why, and also this is cheaper compared to others.
Agriculture is very important, but what actually I think why it is vulnerable is lack of sensitization and awareness. There has been sensitization, of course, but the recipients, that is the farmers in the Gambia, really lack some better insights of agriculture. How? Most of the time, when I was a kid, I lived in the provinces, and you see a lot of bush burning, and this affects the topsoil nutrients, which is a catalyst to agricultural development, because the topsoil has nitrogen fixing bacteria, and this promotes the germination of crops. And often, yearly, year in, year out, you see bush burning, and this burns a lot of this area.
Why is sub-Saharan Africa's agriculture very vulnerable? There are various reasons. Firstly, if you look at sub-Saharan Africa, our economies are dependent on agriculture. If you look at the Gambia, agriculture is one of the major contributions to GDP. So being susceptible to climate change means that if we are not tackling it, it's going to cause a lot of harm to our economies. One. But the other issue is that we do not have the resources. Sub-Saharan Africa, as already highlighted by the other presenters, is not actually one of the major contributors to climate change.
Now, why Sub-Saharan Africa is most vulnerable to climate change? One, particularly in our country, the country depends, the GDP, the agriculture is at the top. So if climate change has effect on the rain, that is the rain pattern. So if the rain pattern is affected, agriculture will be affected. And if agriculture is affected, the nutrition in our country, because we depend on what agriculture, and the nutrient is very important in our body. If that is lacking, then this will affect the health sector and all other sectors in our country. That's why the sub-Saharan African countries are most vulnerable to climate change.
On the third one, this is enhanced greenhouse effects.
Yes,
now,
enhanced greenhouse effect. Please
now,
elaborate on that.
Enhanced greenhouse effect can be controlled by virtue of our
Your time is up.
emission.
To elaborate on enhanced greenhouse effect, you know, if you look at greenhouse effect, they have more, if they have effect on climate, they have effect on climate change, and they change climate rapidly. So to enhance it,
it's time.
My contribution is, I think they've all presented well. I think the debate almost make a little bit of difference in terms of time management and also in terms of presentation of the already presented policy recommendations. Yeah, I think the debate seemed to be a bit interesting, looking at the fact that after presenting the main policy and now they're trying to defend it has, in my opinion, gone up to create another look on the whole stuff. But I think in general it was, they all did well. Maybe towards the end we'll see what happened.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sane. What about you, Mr. Balde?
Well, basically, like my co-judge said, there are different, a variety of topics have been presented, and it's all geared towards mitigating the effects of climate change. So far, so good. They are progressing. Each has their own take and have well articulated. So it's going to be pretty tough for one to come up with, you know, points.
So thank you, my co-judges. I mean, and also thank you, fellow nominees. I mean, you have done, I believe, a good job. And then we will spend some time to deliberate, to collate the points, to come up with the winner. But I believe that all of you are winners. But obviously, there will only be one main winner. But then again, what I want you to understand is that when you're talking about climate change mitigation and adaptation, mitigation, when we're talking about mitigation, we're talking about reducing what? The emission of greenhouse gases. And then also some of the solutions are what, as you have said, reforestation in terms of having carbon sinks, going also into renewable sources of energy like solar, wind, geothermal, wave energy, hydroelectricity, biogas, biofuel, etc., etc. Now, when we're talking about adaptation, we're talking about what? Adjustment to expected climate and its effects. So this is also very, very important. Yeah. And then when we're talking, one of the main things that I was looking for in the second question, the answer, was that the agricultural sector of sub-Saharan Africa is so vulnerable because we are mostly what? Rain-fed dependent. Yeah. Less than 10% of our arable land is irrigated. So it means that if we don't have enough rain, we are in problem. That is the problem. If we have too much rain, we experience flood. If we have a little amount of rain, that is drought. So, you see, so we are so vulnerable because we are mainly dependent on rain. So I mean, that is what I wanted to basically hear. And then Sabali was able to highlight that briefly, talking about the rainfall. And then you did not have time to go into the enhanced greenhouse effect. You also defended your policies. So that is it. So thank you very much. And you can now leave the stage. And then we will now try to collect the point. Thank you.
Okay, viewers, if you're watching right now, we have come to the end part of this debate, the Dago Room debate. Of course, you've seen how dark the place is, and it's part of it. But it was very hot. The nominees have defended their point, they presented well. All of them did very well. Congratulations to these three wonderful nominees. That's why we call it the Youth of the Year Award. Because they are youths that are doing great stuff. It's not easy to stand there, trust me. It's very hot down there because we have our Chief Judge who is very critical. But just to tell you, very soon you will find out who among these three nominees will emerge as the winner. To also inform you, their mentors are in, and each of the mentors will also want their mentees to win, and we'll find out. And from there, we will also interview how did the mentors train them and put them to this level where they come up with this wonderful presentation and also defending the policy. The government also is listening, and they might adopt one of their policies, who knows? So what is important here is for people to be aware of climate change. Climate change is real, and everybody should be aware of. On that note, I will leave the judges to do their calculations and all the stuff. I know all the nominees right now are they're on the fry pan. But very soon, we'll find out who among these three nominees will emerge as the climate change expert. We call them not only winners, but they will become as climate change experts, and we'll find out of these three nominees. Don't be scared. Very soon you will know the results. And once again, we thank YEP and also the National Environmental Agency. The director, Mr. Suare, has did very well. We really appreciate his effort. We also appreciate the GRTS Director General. Also, Joe, we've been disturbing him a lot. We really appreciate his effort to help us to make sure that we reach to this stage. It has not been easy for him, but he has really helped us. We really thank Joe, his technical team, and Jais and others. We thank all of them. But also we thank the technical team, because each of the nominees also came along with their technical team, and they're behind their nominees to help them, to support them, to make sure that they win. So we thank them a lot. They're in-house. We thank them a lot. Of course, you're not seeing them because it's an adult debate, but they're doing great stuff behind their nominees. Also, just to tell you this, this is one of the debates. We have another debate coming. So we are calling on all Gambians, the private sectors, companies and NGOs or government to support this upcoming debate that is coming. This is the irregular migration. We're calling on everybody to support it because that debate will be very, very hot. On that note, I have to thank you so much, and we will just take a short break, and when we come back, we will find out who among these three nominees is the winner.
For my mentee is concerned, I have provided adequate documentation that he has looked at and is in the process of developing his presentation from the documents that I have provided. I've also provided him with some videos on climate change and related issues. And this other part of the program is to just come and show them or show him with regards to the impacts of climate change on our coastline, knowing that tourism is one of the major sectors that contribute to our national economy. And it is important, therefore, that we protect this natural resource against the impact of erosion due to the waves from the ocean. And this is one of the projects that is being implemented by the Coastal Resilience Project at the NEA. And the measure taken here is could be considered as hard engineering measure. But there are other alternative measures that could also be adopted, like the soft engineering, where you make sure you retreat and make sure you create a buffer where you would plant some trees, and some plant species that can help to protect and stabilize the coastline. Yeah, I really have confidence in Ibrahima because currently he is on his program at the university, but nonetheless he has also shown real commitment in trying to gather a lot of information which I have shared with him. And as he has just briefed me on his preparation for this debate, I have no doubt that he will come out successful, inshallah.
I found my mentor a very helpful mentor actually, because he has helped me a lot and he fed me with a lot of information pertaining to climate change, especially within our country, both national and international. So if you look at climate change right now, is actually increasing at all levels, both in rise of temperature, sea level rise, and it affects our agriculture. So if you look at all these areas, I feel like my mentor has given me one of the fundamental information that one needs in presenting on climate change and also bringing policies about climate change. this climate change debate actually it has started helping me as a person, because then before this competition, though I know the definition of climate change, but I don't know much about climate change, and I don't know what are the causes, the effect, and some of the consequences of climate change. But right now, as I am sitting right now, I can say like I am feeded, I am overloaded with much information, and I believe after this competition, I would love to proceed and study course on climate change, so that I can also contribute in reducing or remedying the effects of climate change in our country. So I find this competition very helpful, both to me and to my society. Yeah, of course, I believe that my mentor has fed me a lot, and I have learned a lot, and I have a lot of skills. And as you can see, like right now, as I'm delivering, you believe that even you believe that I can do it, and I have the guts to stand against anybody, because I have the experience right now, because my mentor has given me one of the best and one of the needed knowledge and skills in climate change. So I believe that I can do it, and I will do it.
My name is Lamin Koma, Senior Program Officer, Coastal and Marine Environment, National Environment Agency. Coming to your question, since this program has been initiated, my mentee, which is 002 CD Lamin Ba, has been very cooperative. He is willing to learn. We've been sharing experiences together, and what I can say, he is very, very cooperative and willing to learn. One of your key activities is climate change. Climate change is a global issue. It affects most developing countries and the small island states. Gambia, being a developing country and also a coastal state, we have seen impacts of climate change, particularly on the coastal environment. My mentee, 002, I brought him here purposely to see the effects of climate change impacting on our coastal and marine environment. We have a coastline of 81 kilometers long. We have some areas which are very vulnerable to impacts of climate change, and where we are standing right now is one of those areas, the Senegambia stretch. I brought him here purposely to learn and see what climate change is doing to our coastline. The area is predominantly a tourism development area, and Gambia being a tourism destination country, we get most of our income generation from the tourism activities. So if this area is not well protected, coupled with the fisheries resources we have, we're going to see severely the impacts of climate change disturbing the country. Sidi Lamin Ba 002, I know this Youth of the Year award is for him.
This is a rare opportunity for me, and I'm really amazed with the climate change expert. What happened was, when we went to the climate change experts, we were assigned to each expert, and speaking to my expert, I have learned really, really a lot. My thoughts initially were climate change is more of a fallacy. I didn't believe in it, but having gone through with him, he gave me very good notes and explaining some of the impacts of climate change in our environment is really amazing. And I think he has done considerable great job that I really appreciate. I'm currently preparing my presentations, which I have seen from Banjul down to Katong, some of the things he has explained to me, what climate change does in terms of the socio-cultural effects, the effects on our economy, the effects on our environment. I am really understanding this, and I have seen that there's a need for policymakers to really do something about climate change. Otherwise, there will come a time when the government itself will suffer the consequences of lack of concentrating on climate change issues. It will indeed, because once my awareness is being raised, I'm aware of some of these impacts. So it will have a definite impact on me, because if I see certain things of this nature, rather than waiting for the government, I can work with philanthropists or organizations that are interested or like-minded in climate change initiatives. So this will have a very good impact in me, because it will raise my my morale, and I will understand the negative consequences of climate change, and I will be able to raise the information further because I'm lecturing. I can lecture this at the university, tell some of these students, and then it will serve as a reference tool for me to understand why climate change has to be tackled from the global level, the regional level, and the national level. Inshallah, this is my biggest hope because I'm definitely sure with what I have now, if I should stand before any audience, I should be able to explain some of these important impacts of climate change. And if they give me their ear, I should definitely make a definite impact and win this competition.
All right, this is the moment that everybody has been waiting for. Thank you very much. First of all, I have to thank the judges. Leroy, thank you very much. Ibrahim Abalde, and also Landing B. Sane, General Manager of NEDI. We thank you very much. We also thank St. Peter's. We cannot go without thanking them for providing us that podium. We are very glad that they provided that wonderful podium. And also to thank all the nominees and their mentors. They did very well. This is the moment that everybody has been waiting for. And I'm going to give you who among these three nominees is the winner of the climate change debate. And this particular person, we call him the climate change expert of the year. So we will come to the moment. All the nominees did very well. They all did very well. You've seen their presentation. You've seen how they defended their policies. But these judges are experts, and they know they judge based on very important skills. Thank you very much, judges, once again. But now they have given me the person who wins the climate change debate. And the winner is... The winner of the climate change darker room debate, second edition of the Youth of the Year Award is... Ibrahim Sabali. Clap for him, boy, please. Ibrahim Sabali has emerged as the winner of the climate change debate. Can you please clap for him, please? Ibrahim Sabali, can you come forward? Can you come forward, please? Can you clap for him? Ibrahim Sabali has emerged as the winner of the climate change debate, the darker room debate, the second edition of the Youth of the Year Award. Ibrahim Sabali, how do you feel?
First of all, I feel honored to be the winner of this debate. And secondly, I would thank the judges and the audience sitting there, and especially my opponents. I believe that they are better than me, but this debate, it was so unfortunate that they were not emerged as the winner. And thank you so much, the judges, and also the balance that organized this competition. But I would like to thank that humble man over there, Mr. Kujabi, and my technical advisor, that is Haruna. And also, my boss there, my humble boss, Motlamin Elwai Jara, also did well for me. But I am promising the Gambia that I am going to study a course on climate change, and I have to give back to my society. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We go also to the other nominees. How do you feel today with the debate?
No, I mean, congratulate him. And I think it's well deserved, and to also thank the judges for the decision and to the balance for organizing this debate. We look forward to the other engagements.
Once again, said congratulations to Ibrahima. It has been a job well deserved. He has done extremely well, and we can only wish him best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much. They all did very well. But like I said, in every competition there must be a winner. And Ibrahima has won the first climate change debate. We will have another debate, the darker room debate, called irregular migration. Like I said, I call on everybody to support this noble event. Once again, we thank the YEP. We also thank GRTS, NEA, National Environmental Agency. These companies has did very well to support us to make sure to organize this wonderful competition. Once again, congratulations to Ibrahima Sabali, and thank you so much, judges, for your kind attention. And we also thanks their mentors. Thank you once again. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.